Yo, 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 what's going on? Welcome to Unfiltered Expertise. I am your host, Mike the Expert. And yes, we are going to be talking Big Brother once again. We had the live eviction last night. It was a pretty good episode, and it went pretty much how I thought it was going to go. But before we get into that, we're going to back up a little bit because you do know on Wednesday we had the veto ceremony and we had the veto gameplay. So we had three people with powers: Mickey, Kelly, and Keanu. So Mickey's power, we know she wasn't really going to use it. It wasn't going to be in play. She's not on the block. She doesn't have any reason to use her power at the moment. She's not running the risk of going home. But Keanu and Kelly, they both are on the block and they both run the risk of going home. So, of course, they're going to use their powers. Keanu used his power. He has two chances to win the veto. Basically, he can win the veto himself, or he'll also have somebody that was a Big Brother player before, maybe a Big Brother comp beast, basically, they will also be playing the veto. And if they win, Keanu gets the veto also. So he has two chances to win it. So the veto game play happened. It was going on. Keanu, he didn't win. He got out. But the person that he had in there, which was Casey, veto comp, also won the whole Big Brother thing on season 20. She was actually in there playing for Keanu also. She won. Nearly did it. Adrian came in second place, almost won, but Casey won. She got the veto, gave it to Keanu. So Keanu was able to take himself off the block. Kelly, she wound up using hers too. So with Kelly's, hers is also a veto, but she has to play a solo mission to do it. So hers, it was a puzzle. She won, so she got her veto. She was able to take herself off the block. So Jimmy, he had to nominate not one but two more people. So the first person he nominated was Amy to put her on, and then his other renom was Will. So now you have Adrian, Amy, and Will all on the block. So Thursday night, the eviction episode, like I said, you have Amy, Will, and Adrian all on the block. Because Keanu and Kelly were able to take themselves off and Jimmy nominated them. So during this episode, most of this episode was just waiting to see, who has the numbers, who's going to vote for who wants who out, what do people think about these nominations. That's basically what most of the episode was about. Zach, for instance, he wants to keep competitors. So Zach wants Adrian to come off the block because Zach, he's an athlete. He wants to go up against competitors. And he also thinks Adrian would be better for his game. So he wants Adrian to come off the block. Mickey and Morgan, they're a little different. They want Will to come off the block. And they're actually mad at Jimmy because they're in an alliance with Jimmy. Morgan, Mickey, and Jimmy, those threesome, they're in an alliance. And they expected Jimmy to really consult them on who they was going to put on the block. They think that putting Will and Amy up on the block was a weak move, but Jimmy did what he wanted to do. Instead of really consulting them, he just told them, this is what I'm going to do, without getting, seeing what they really wanted to do. So Mickey and Morgan, they really want Will to stay. That's their thing. They want Will to stay. Lauren and Catherine, they want Amy out, just like Morgan and Mickey. They want Amy out too in this situation. But Lauren and Catherine, they want Amy out. And Lauren believes there are two sides of the house, right? You have the women and Jimmy, and then you have the guys and Kelly. And Lauren explains that she's kind of in the middle of that, and she kind of wants to stay in the middle of that. Vince and Kelly, they want Adrian to stay. They're hoping that he wins the blockbuster, and then they can send Amy home, because if it's Will and Amy, they're going to send Amy home, and then that really weakens Rachel. So that's kind of what Vince and Kelly want to do. Morgan and Mickey, like I said, they want to keep Will no matter what, no matter who he's against, whether he's against Adrian, whether he's against Amy, they want to keep Will. So basically what Morgan and Mickey do is they go around the house trying to grab support for Will. So they talk to Ava. Ava's on board. She's down for it. It doesn't matter if Will is against Amy, if Will's against Adrian, she's voting to keep Will. So Ava's with them. Vince and Zach, they're kind of on board. So basically, if Will and Amy are on the block, they're going to vote to keep Will. But if Adrian is on the block against Will, they're voting to keep Adrian. So they both, Vince and Zach, really want to keep Adrian in the house. So Ashley hears wind of this. that the votes are not really going in Amy's direction. Ashley, she's loyal to Rachel, so she goes and she tells Rachel. She tells Rachel, I don't think Amy has the votes, and this upsets Rachel. So Rachel goes up to the HOH room and she confronts. At the time, Morgan and Zach are in the HOH room, so she goes and she confronts Morgan and Zach about it. And then Jimmy finally comes in, so she talks about it and confronts all of them about it. Um, and she just lets them know that Amy's going to be better for their games. Amy's somebody that you can put on the block every week, week in, week out. She's not going to win competitions, so she's not a threat to them, which honestly is true. It's honestly true, but you know, really at this point it's a little too late. People really have their minds made up, so it's too little too late. And then Amy, she's not really playing the game, you know and that's another reason why she just needs to go ahead and go. I mean, she's not out there talking to anybody. The only person she's really talking to is Rachel. She's not trying to get votes to come her way. So I mean, yeah, if you're not really playing the game of Big Brother, then you need to be out. I mean, she basically, Amy's a floater, and Rachel, she's always been the one to not like floaters. I don't know why all of a sudden she likes them now, but I remember back in the day, when Rachel made a name for herself, she was telling floaters get a life vest. She wanted to get floaters out, but Amy is a big time floater in this game, and yeah, she, in my opinion, shoot, I want her out the house, but Rachel, she lets them know that you don't want problems with Rachel. And if I want Amy to stay in the house, she's going to stay in the house. That's what, basically what Rachel is saying. So later on, past all that, we have the BB Blockbuster. That's played, Will, Amy, and Adrian. The ones on the block, they play the BB Blockbuster. Whoever wins that gets to come off the block, leaving the other two on the block. So Adrian, he won the BB Blockbuster. It was a puzzle. He put that together. It was a very, very easy puzzle. The Blockbuster was real easy. Adrian won that one, so that leaves Will and Amy on the block. So then the live eviction comes up, and unanimously, Amy leaves the house. So everybody voted to keep Will in the house. Um, but as she's leaving, going to go see Julie, as she's walking out that door, she tells everybody that Jimmy is a snake and that they need to get him out. So she just puts that in everybody's ear, and that does play a factor later on. But yeah, so she says that, and basically that's how it ends. Amy's out, which I really thought was going to happen. And, Sunday we'll see, what happens. I kind of already know who the HOH is now because of the live feeds. I do watch the live feeds also. I'm on and off with it, but I know who's the HOH, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that when it happens on Sunday. Also, I wanted to let you all know that there's a new show called Big Brother Unlocked. It's on Fridays. It's bi-weekly, so it's this Friday, and then every other Friday after that. Every other Friday. But yeah, Big Brother Unlocked is going to have a lot of older Big Brother players on there talking about the game and all that stuff. So we'll see how it is. I'm up for it. I'm a big Big Brother fan, so any extra thing about Big Brother that comes out, I'm all down for it. We'll see how it is, and we'll just go from there. And again, this is Unfiltered Expertise. I'm Mike the Expert. You can also catch me on The Culture. It's The Culture One on Instagram and The Culture 9660 on YouTube. So you can catch me on there also. We talk sneakers and sports on our YouTube and on our Instagram. So yeah, you can catch me on there too. But anyways, I'm Mike the Expert. I'm out. Peace.